Hi everyone, my name is Wendy. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a simple low poly tree in Blender. I'll be using Blender 5 for this tutorial. I've enabled the screencast keys in the bottom left corner of the screen, so you can easily follow along. First, let's delete the default objects from the scene. Press A to select everything, then press X and choose Delete. Let's start by creating the tree trunk. Come up to the Add menu. Under Mesh, choose Cylinder. You can also press Shift A and select Cylinder from the Mesh menu. Okay, before you do anything else, go to the bottom left corner of the screen, open the Cylinder options, and change the vertices value to 8. This gives the tree trunk that nice, low poly chunky style we're going for. It's important to make these changes now, because if you click or use another tool, these options disappear. And if you need a different number of vertices later, you'll have to delete the cylinder and start over. Press 1 on the numpad to switch to the front viewport. Now hold Shift and the middle mouse button, then drag the mouse down to pan the view. This gives us a little more room to work. Next, we'll move the mesh onto the ground while keeping the object's origin in the same position. This allows us to scale it along the Z-axis later without it lifting off the ground. Press Tab to enter into edit mode. The cylinder is 2 meters tall by default, so we'll move the mesh up by 1 meter. Press G, Z, and 1 on the numpad, and press Enter to confirm. The mesh moves up while the origin point stays at the base. Now press Tab to return to object mode. I'll quickly show you what this does. If I press S, it scales the entire object. But if we press S followed by Z, it only scales along the Z-axis. Now scale yours until it's about the same height as mine. Now let's make the tree trunk look a bit more natural by tapering it and add in a few curves. If you plan to leave part of the trunk visible beneath the leaves, it's worth shaping it now. Press Tab to switch to edit mode. To taper the top of the tree, press Alt and left-click the top edge to select the entire edge loop. Next, press S and scale it in slightly. Something like this, but not too far, otherwise the vertices will overlap. I'm just going to orbit around and have a look. Okay, I'm happy with that. We can add some extra loops around the center. This will give us enough geometry to bend the shape of the trunk in the next step. Tab into edit mode, then press Ctrl R to activate the loop cut tool. Then use the mouse wheel to increase the number of cuts. Left-click once to confirm the cuts, and then left-click again to apply them. We're going to use the proportional editing tool, so come up to the main bar and turn on the proportional editing. Press Alt and left-click on one of the edges to select the entire edge loop. Press G to move it, and use the mouse wheel to adjust the area of influence. This makes it easier to create a nice, smooth, natural-looking curve. Just move it slightly, just something subtle. Let's try something different for the base. Select this edge loop. Press O on the keyboard to turn off the proportional editing. Then press G and C and drag the loop down a little. I'll zoom in so you get a better look. Press R and tilt the edge loop slightly. This subtle movement changes the shape of the base and makes it feel less uniform. I'm just going to orbit around and zoom out to have a better look. I'll tab into edit mode. Okay, that's good, I like it. Once you're happy with the overall shape, go up to the outliner, double-click on the object's name and rename it. I'll change mine to trunk. Now let's create some leaves by stacking a few simple cones. It's a quick and effective way to build the overall shape of the foliage. Press Shift A and add a cone from the Mesh menu. And before we move on, come down to the cone options. Here we're going to change the vertices to 8, so it matches the low poly style of the tree trunk. This cone will be the bottom layer of the foliage. Let's move it into position. So press G followed by Z and move the cone up. Next press S and scale the object. Scale it to roughly the size that you see on the screen. Press Tab to go into edit mode. Hold Alt and left-click the edge to select the entire edge loop. Then press S to scale the bottom outward slightly to give the cone a broader base. Press Tab and return to object mode. Let's take a quick look. Next I'll press G and Z and I'll drag the cone up to around here. I want to show about this much of the tree trunk. Press Tab to switch back to edit mode. Now press 3 from the top row of numbers on the keyboard and select this face, then X to delete it. Okay, I'm happy with the shape and the size of this first level. Don't worry about the thickness, we'll get to that a bit later on. Tab back into edit mode, and now we're going to create a few copies and stack them on top. So press Shift D to duplicate the cone, then move the copy upwards. Press 1 on the numpad to switch to the front view, then press S to scale it in slightly. I'll fast forward this little part of the video. Repeat this 2 more times, moving each cone a little higher and scale it down a little bit more. By the end, you should have a stack of cones that gradually get smaller towards the top, creating the basic shape of the tree's foliage. If your tree trunk is sticking out through the top like mine, it's an easy fix. We'll get to that in a minute. For the time being, let's work on the top cone. Press S and Z and stretch the cone slightly to give it a taller, more pointed shape. This helps finish off the tree and creates a more natural looking silhouette. Okay, let's fix the tree trunk. Select the tree trunk, then press S followed by Z and scale it down until it's hidden inside the foliage. I'm happy with the size now. I'm just going to make a few adjustments. At this point the tree is starting to come together, but it still looks a little too perfect. Let's add some variation to make it feel more natural. First we'll start by rotating a couple of the cones, so they're not all in the same position. Select one of the cones, press R and Z, and rotate it around the Z axis until it's about here, right in the center of this face. I'll select the top one and repeat this process. Okay, let's just orbit around and have a good look. That's looking good. I'll just zoom out so I can get a better view. I'm just going to make a few more adjustments. Now let's give the cones a little thickness by adding a modifier. Before we do that though, we need to apply the scale. Make sure you're in object mode, then box select all the objects, or simply press A to select everything. Next, press Ctrl A to open the Apply menu and choose Scale. This applies the scale to all the selected objects, so the modifiers will work correctly. Since we've been resizing the objects, Blender is still storing the original scale values. Applying the scale resets these values back to 1, while keeping the objects exactly the same size. This ensures modifiers are calculated correctly and behave as expected. Select the bottom cone. To give the cone objects some thickness, we'll use the Solidify Modifier. Since modifiers are non-destructive, you can go back at any time to adjust the thickness or remove the effect entirely. Come over to the Modifiers tab. Under Generate, select Solidify and set the thickness value to something like 0.15 or 0.2. This gives the foliage some depth and a nice chunky low poly look. Now we could add the modifier to each cone one by one, but there's a much faster way. Select all the cone objects while holding Shift, making sure that the object that already has the Solidify modifier is selected last. Then press Ctrl L to open the Link and Transfer Data menu and choose Copy Modifiers. Blender will copy the same modifier and the settings to all the selected objects. At this point, you could leave the model as it is. We already have a great looking low poly tree. But if you want to add a little more realism while keeping the low poly style, we can make a few simple cuts. Let's switch to the front viewport by pressing 1 on the numpad. Make sure the bottom cone is selected, hit Tab and come into edit mode. Press K to activate the knife tool. Hover over the edge until it turns green. Then left click to place the first cut. Click on the other edge in the center. Then one more point to create the triangular cut. Right-click to finish the cut, then press Enter to confirm it. Make sure you're in face mode, then hold Shift and select the two faces. Press X and delete them. The Solidify modifier gives the triangular cut thickness, by generating the interfaces around the opening automatically. Now we can repeat this process in a few more places. Make a triangular cut in every second edge, varying the size and the position of each one so the tree doesn't look too uniform. If you want to tweak the shapes, press 1 for vertex mode and move the vertices around. Press G to reposition them, or press G twice to slide the vertices along an edge. Experiment a little until you're happy with a random chunky look. I'll repeat this process for the remaining objects, except the top cone. I'm going to fast forward this video. If you're following along, feel free to pause the video here and catch up before continuing. When you're finished working on one cone, tab out of Edit Mode, select the one above it, and tab into Edit Mode again. Switch in between Face Mode and Vertex Mode to create random shapes. Before we cut the top cone, let's give it a more organic shape by adding a cut around it. Since the cone is made up of triangles, we can't use the Loop Cut tool like we did before for the tree trunk, so I'll use a different tool instead. Zoom in, press Tab to enter into Edit Mode. We could use the Knife tool and orbit around the view cutting the edges, but it can be a little tricky to get a clean cut. I'll undo that with Ctrl Z. Make sure you're still in Edit Mode. Press A to select everything. Then go to the toolbar and click and hold the Knife tool to reveal the Bisect tool hidden behind it. The Bisect tool is perfect for this because it will create a clean, straight cut. Left-click on the outer edge and drag it across the cone to define the angle of the cup. We don't want a straight cut. Place the cut on an angle. Try to create the angle to a similar one like you see on the screen. To exit the tool, left-click anywhere in the viewport to disactivate it. Now it's important to switch back to the selection cursor. To do this, come back over to the toolbar and select the selection cursor, or you can press W to instantly switch back to the normal selection cursor. If you orbit around the object, you'll see that the Bisect tool has created a continuous edge loop all the way around the mesh. Make sure you're in vertex mode and select the top vertex of the cone. Press 1 on the numpad to switch to the front viewport. Press G and move the vertex slightly to one side. Maybe you can even stretch it up a little more. Just enough to give the tree a slightly more natural shape. When you're happy with the design, press K to activate the Knife tool. Cut a few more triangular shapes into the subject, just like we did to the other layers of the foliage. I'll fast forward this part of the video. If you like, pause the video and catch up. I'll zoom out and switch to the front view for a minute. Okay, now a few final tweaks to give this low poly tree a bit more character. Select the bottom cone, press R and give it a slight tilt to one side. Then select the cones above it, orbit around the model and tilt those as well. Now's also the time to readjust the position of the cones if you need to. I'm just going to move a few up and down. That's coming along good. I'm really happy with the shape. For a final touch of variation, I'm going to select a few of the outer vertices around the edges of the cones and move them down slightly. Stretching one side a little more than the other helps to break up the silhouette and gives the foliage a more organic shape. That wraps up the modeling stage. By now you should have a great looking low poly stylized tree that is ready for the next part of the tutorial. Before you move on though, let's take a moment to organize our scene. Come over to the outliner and name the objects. I'll just type in leaves. Leaf 001, leaf 002, and leaf 003. Giving your objects clear descriptive names makes it much easier to identify later, especially as your scenes become more complex. Now let's add some materials. Start by selecting the tree trunk, and we'll create a simple brown material. Head over to the Material Properties tab and click on New. This will create a new material. I'll rename it Trunk. Next, click on the base color and choose a warm orangey brown. Then darken it slightly by lowering the value slider on the right. Finally, we'll set the roughness to 1. This gives the material a nice flat, matte finish that works really well for a more cartoony style. To see the material in the viewport, switch to the Material Preview. Just go to the Viewport shading options at the top of the screen and click on Material Preview. Next, select one of the leaf objects and create a new material. I'll rename it Leaves. Once you're happy with the shade, set the roughness to 1. We'll keep the same flat stylized look. If you like, you can create a few different shades of green for the other leaf objects to add a bit more variation. However, I'm going to keep things simple and use the same material for all of them. Next, select the next layer and head over to the Materials tab. Open the Material Browser and select the green material we just created. Blender will automatically apply the same material and all its settings. We've finished our low poly stylized tree, but it looks a little lonely, so let's create a few duplicates to help fill out the scene. Before we create any duplicates, let's parent all the leaf objects to the trunk. Hold Shift and select each of the leaf objects. Then select the trunk last, so it's the active object. Press Ctrl P and choose Object to parent the leaves to the trunk. With all the objects selected, press Shift D to duplicate them. Then press G, and in my case X, to move the tree off to one side. I'll repeat this process to create another duplicate and place it on the other side. Just adding a few more trees makes the scene feel much more complete. To add a bit more variation, let's scale it and rotate the new trees. Since everything is parented together, you only need to select the tree trunk to transform the entire tree. Scale it down slightly by pressing S. Then press R and Z to rotate it around the Z-axis. Do the same for the other tree, but give it a different scale and rotation so the trees look more natural and less repetitive. Even though the leaf objects are parented to the trunk, you can still edit them individually. Select the top cone. Let's simplify it by removing this edge loop. I'll zoom in so we get a closer look. Now press Tab to enter into edit mode. Then hold Alt and left-click on the edge to select the entire edge loop. Press X, and this time choose Dissolve Edges from the menu. Small tweaks like this can make a big difference to the final result. Now the scene is finished, let's create a quick viewport render. Viewport renders are perfect for creating thumbnails, sharing your work, or simply previewing your model without waiting for a full render. First of all, come over to the Render tab. Leave the render engine set to Eevee. To make the colors pop a little more, scroll down to Color Management. Change the View Transform to Standard. Then set Look to Medium Contrast or a Medium High Contrast. I'll just leave mine as a Medium High Contrast. This gives the render a more vibrant, cartoony look. We don't want the grid and axis lines showing in our render, so turn off overlays at the top of the viewport. Just remember to turn them back on afterwards, or you won't be able to select or transform anything in the scene. I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to try to box select this tree and move it to the side. And I can't, so I'll go back and turn on my overlays. I'll grab this tree and just move it over slightly. Then I'll turn off the overlays again. Once you're happy with the composition, go to View, then Viewport Render Image. Blender will capture exactly what you see in the viewport. If you like a different angle or a closer shot, simply close the window, reposition the view, and run another viewport render. When you're happy with the image, go to Image, Save As, choose a location on your computer, and save it as a PNG or whichever file format you prefer. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful and learned something along the way. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.